You're listening to CreepGeeks Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/cheapgeek. So it begins again. Welcome back to the CreepGeeks Podcast. This is episode number 108.
Super Blood Wolf Moon, Newfound Foot, and Sasquatch stuff.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So, welcome back to the podcast. So, very much gladly to have you here. That didn't make any sense. Just ignore that part and just listen to the part where I appreciate the fact that everybody tunes in and listens. Yeah. So, I'm Greg.
I'm Omi.
And this podcast is about broadcasting paranormal news and fun stories from our CreepGeeks Bunker Studio in the mountains of western North Carolina.
Yeah, and we're an offbeat news podcast that takes a lighthearted approach to the strange, the stupid, paranormal, and tech topics circulating the web.
That's right. So we do this from the middle of nowhere because we like to do it. It's a fun time for us, usually. So we do what we got to do, and hopefully you guys can feel the fun. So if you can feel the fun, you can give us a phone call at 575-208-4025.
That's a Roswell area code.
Yep, and I'll say it again. 575-208-4025. So if you have a funny story or something you want to let us know, you can call and leave a message, and we'll put it on the show. Or we won't. It depends on what it's all about. But yeah. You have options there. It's what it's all about, really. So there's that. And we do, we have a little bit to talk about today. This podcast is going to be super exciting. Yeah? You're supposed to say something. You're like, what?
Well.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we do appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. And you can hear us on iTunes and Google Play, Music, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Player FM. And basically, yeah, Spotify. Pretty much anywhere you can hear a podcast, you can hear us. We've been doing this for a little while. We're on our third season. This is episode number 108.
Yeah. Super
Blood Wolf Moon, Newfound Foot, and Sasquatch stuff. So it's going to be very nice. So you ready?
Sure.
As we do with most of our podcasts, we like to start out with an interesting random factoid.
Okay.
And since we're just coming down off of the holidays, we figure this one will be about the holidays.
Oh.
Right? I mean, because by now everybody's back to work, doing what they got to do, getting back into that grind.
For the most part.
Yep. Because the next holiday is, I'm not even sure.
Valentine's?
Kind of depends on where you work. Well, it's not really Valentine's. You don't really get that off. It's,
yeah.
I want to say it's
President's Day?
Or Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Something like that. Kind of depends on where you're working. You know what I mean? But anyway, this random interesting factoid. These are the most returned Christmas presents every year. Yep.
Okay.
So, you get a Christmas present, and it's just not for you, and you return it, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think most people return when they actually go through and take the effort to return?
You know what I would
a gift
return all the time when I was growing up?
Underwear.
Sweaters.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Socks. Sweaters. You know, that is the one thing that I like to get as I'm older, is the stuff that I just hate buying. Socks, underwear, t-shirts. Yep.
See, I would get sweaters a lot growing up, and they were always just weird or uncomfortable, and I hated them. The thing was, my relatives, they'd spend really nice money on these sweaters.
On these meh
Christmas
presents?
Well, it wasn't even meh. It was like, let's always put glitter, or, some
Everybody likes glitter.
Bright color that didn't go with my skin tone, or just something about the sweaters. Most of the sweaters I never liked. So right after Christmas, I'm standing in the long return lines to return them. Then I'd find out how much money they spent. I'm like, well, heck, I could get school clothes for the rest of the year with these.
Well, dang.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's sort of sad.
I know, but
But it's good that you took that money and, bought your school clothes.
yeah.
So,
So,
the number one returned item is clothes,
well, yeah.
but specifically men's dress shirts.
Oh.
Yeah. The single most exchanged gift for men in 2016 was dress shirts. And they say it's probably just because people buy the wrong size.
Oh.
With a dress shirt, you got to know your neck size and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can get a shirt that you think fits, but when it's got like a size 15 neck and you're rocking an 18 and a half, you can't button that button. And if you do need to wear a tie or something like that, it's just impossible. So.
Well, see, me and my little brother, that was, as we got older, that was our go-to for our dad. We'd get him work polos.
Yeah.
So, I wonder how many he returned.
Probably none. They're probably just rotten somewhere.
Oh.
Or been thrown out by now.
Yeah.
And then shoes is the third one. So, there you go. The first one, clothes. Second one, dress shirts. Third one, shoes. How you like that?
I think that's weird.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But you know what's weird is Amazon. They put up a list of best of Amazon Prime 2018. Yeah. And this is the stuff that they said was the best of Amazon Prime for 2018.
Okay.
So, big fans of Amazon because Amazon does stuff like lets us order stuff and then 2 days later it magically shows up on the doorstep.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. You exchange money to them and they exchange the thing that you bought and they send it to you. So it's a useful thing.
Okay.
So here's some factoids about Amazon Prime Day 2018 and some of the most purchased items that was bought for 2018. So there's 2 billion with a B products ordered around the world every day for delivery in 1 day or faster.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. We can't get that. So until it happens to us, it's not real. We're going to look at it like that, right?
Well, it's funny because every time for the past 5 years almost, we have moved to right outside of the 1 day delivery options.
Yeah, I think if we ever move again, we need to be within that 1 day delivery option.
Well,
I bet the rent's astronomical.
Because
the mortgage payment.
Charlotte, North Carolina is one of those places.
That's like 100 miles away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But Albuquerque, certain parts of Albuquerque had 1 day. Yeah. So, and Virginia already has it. So, yeah. In fact, Virginia has 1 day, like the Whole Foods too. So.
All right, that's
they're showing off.
Yeah, definitely showing off. Okay, so the most purchased item was Fire TV stick.
Okay.
The Amazon Fire TV stick. And the next was
the go-to gift.
Yeah, which was Baby Einstein Take-Along Tunes.
That thing just looks like a baby toy that if I were a parent, I'd be throwing out the window because it just looks like it plays all sorts of loud noises.
That's what you get, yeah.
Yeah.
And the top pick for kids was Play-Doh, which is delicious, by the way. And the most popular Prime deal at the Whole Foods Market was organic apples, or more specifically, 350,000 apple pies is what you could make out of all the apples they sold.
Wow.
That is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, their fastest deliveries this year, delivered in 9 minutes.
9 minutes.
Were Excedrin migraine and a massage ball.
That's inappropriate.
To Los Angeles in 9 minutes. A Nintendo SNES Classic, which was delivered via Prime to Kirkland, Washington in 9 minutes. And then High Sierra Loop Backpack in Charlotte, North Carolina.
In 9 minutes.
Yeah, 9 minutes. That's crazy. I can't even
cook a pizza in 9 minutes.
Actually, that's... So, if we lived in one of those places and we were forgetting a pizza ingredient, we could order it and it'd get there before we...
We could just order a pizza.
Oh, that's true. And it would take longer. It would.
Yeah, but you know what, though?
Yeah?
It's worth it.
Oh.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I actually tried to click on the link to see what the backpack looked like.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I took a look to realize that we have a closet full of backpacks hanging up all nice and neat.
Yeah.
3 backpacks on the ground over there for camera-related stuff mostly. One's still wrapped up. And I have 2 more in the living room. We have packs for every occasion here on the CreepGeeks podcast. Do you want to go somewhere far? We have backpacks for that. You want to go somewhere not so far? We have backpacks for that. you want to go and try to record a live streaming podcast from an undisclosed Walmart location with absolutely minimal gear like we do every Sunday, we have backpack for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Problem is when you don't remember where you put your stuff. And then you start thinking to yourself, I'm just going to go ahead and order more stuff, and I'll make multiple kits. That way I won't have to worry about it. Which is the exact opposite of what I should be doing. So, there you go. So we're going to take a quick break and come back, and we're going to talk about our stories. But we hope you enjoyed so far the random interesting factoid. I can't talk today. So, we're going to take a second so we can drink. And we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so this next story is something that we've seen not too long ago. See, here's the deal. Started about 2 weeks ago. Started looking into possibly doing a podcast about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
We talk about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, all that sort of thing quite a bit. Whenever we see anything in the news, we talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I started to take a little bit of a deeper look, and, I personally think that the Sasquatch is not the happy, friendly Harry and the Hendersons type guy that you may have seen before, like in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, okay, these things are like a wild animal, so chances are it's not nice and friendly like everybody thinks. Like, oh, let's go pet the bear, that kind of thing.
And see, I've never believed him to be as friendly
malevolent,
as some people. Or benevolent.
Benevolent, there
yes.
we go. Malevolent's the opposite of benevolent, right?
Yeah, because, all those people talking about, Sasquatch, he's full of love and light and enlightenment and, he's with the Pleiadians to spread human awareness.
Yeah, I don't believe that crap for a second.
No.
So, if this is a large North American primate type animal, or a sort of an in-between, a species, subspecies, whatever, no. I just don't think that's the case. So anyway, I started taking a look and seeing there's lots and lots and lots of reported Bigfoot bad guy type cases and attacks and Bigfoot killed my best dog type stuff. And
yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. So I'm not going to go down it, but I will tell one gruesome Sasquatch tale that we found on Phantoms and Monsters. And I think for probably one of our upcoming podcasts, we'll talk about all the good that Bigfoot's done.
I don't know, because I kind of feel like this part needs to be explored or discussed further. I think there's too much of an agenda out there to portray this possibly ape-like sentient being as something that he's not. And to have that perspective and then just walk out into the wilderness unprepared is going to cause more damage to the community. The cryptid and the Sasquatch communities because...
all the 14 stuff.
Yeah,
Well, that's true. I guess what I should have did a little bit better and said, until I can condense it down to something I want to talk about for about 10 minutes. Instead of just, really going into it. Because, the whole idea of going out in the woods and trying to grab Bigfoot or take a look at him or trap him or whatever... Mm-hmm. That's cool and all, but I think that there's a lot of people that are going about this the wrong way. You see them going out in the woods making the calls, right? Mm-hmm. Doing the knocks and the calls and all that stuff, and they don't really know if that's something that's, pleasing to the Bigfoot, or angering to the Bigfoot.
Well, okay.
Because sometimes they get responses and they're like, oh, that's great. And then sometimes it creates this flurry of activity.
Yeah.
Which can be bad.
And as an animal example, don't like deer and elk knock their antlers against trees to alert other males, don't challenge me? Or something like that?
I don't know. I believe you.
Yeah. So why would you do that to another large primate humanoid creature? I mean, it's like those knocks are challenging. Or what if you're not calling him correctly, and instead of saying, hello, you're saying like, hey baby, or how I challenge you.
Like, hey baby. Yeah.
I don't know any other way to say it.
One guy's like, hey, wait a minute, let me call. It's like, does the thing, and then the other Sasquatch is like, what? Go from happy fun time to now it's time to kick some ass.
Well, nobody has, and I'm sure I'm wrong in saying this, there's going to be a YouTube video up, but I don't think anybody has a definitive, like, Sasquatch alphabet or dictionary. So they're just going out there saying, whoa, or whatever, and it might come out, hey, baby. You know?
It makes you think, right? Yeah, but I wonder how many of those events have happened where nobody's reported it. Coming home, whatever. So I was a hunting trip. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. What? Did you fall down? I don't want to talk about it. I don't know, man. You never know. But, I mean, there is, cases where females have been taken and all sorts of crazy stuff. So,
yeah.
So I guess we'll give it some credence when the time is right. But, I think I want to start off with, like, let's find the good stuff. That's reported good stuff that Sasquatch has done before we talk about
too
the bad
much
stuff.
of the terrible. But
yeah.
You do have
But
this
before
story.
that happens, I'm going to read this gruesome Sasquatch tale.
Yeah.
All right. Warning. Don't be scared.
Okay.
It's a story. So.
And this was
But I have heard of this before,
Yeah.
so this is kind of why I'm doing it. I'm going to attempt to read this without making a mistake.
And this is a historical account that was forwarded to Phantoms and Monsters.
Yeah,
so.
but this sounds pretty familiar. I think I've read this in a couple books. So.
Yeah.
All right, so in the late 1890s, near the Chaco River in southern Oregon, a dozen loggers and their families encountered a great beast with disastrous results. So camping in tents by the river, the lumbermen would awaken each morning to find their freshly cut timber logs, which required 3 men to move, carelessly scattered about like matchsticks. I like how he does. Carelessly. Like Bigfoot's just flinging stuff around. Right? And so huge human footprints were left in the damp earth with only the clues as to their being there at all, right? Mm-hmm. Since they had been having trouble with the bears, the men of these loggers, these logging men, these big tough guys, these big burly guys, right? Mm-hmm. They set out through the woods to go see and track these footprints. So they went through the torn shrubbery and uprooted saplings until they basically disappeared. That night, the loggers were awakened by shrill screams of something not quite human in the near underbrush. So seizing a rifle, one man lit a torch and headed out into the darkness. He was quickly followed by several other men. In a very short time, the first man rushed back to collapse in terror at the feet of his tracking companions. He babbled incoherently about a hairy monster, 8 feet tall, with yellow eyes, fangs, and hands like a man. His description put the camp in an uproar.
Oh.
The next night, 2 men decided to track and kill the hairy intruder. They carried a small lantern and loaded rifles, and they disappeared in the darkness behind the tents back in camp. Their friends heard screams and shrieks and the sounds of gunfire. Then, silence.
That's spooky.
Yeah. So when the 2 men did not reappear, the other loggers grabbed lanterns and torches and, firing their guns in the air, set out in search of their comrades. A half-mile from camp, they found the scene of a desperate struggle. Broken, bleeding, arms and legs ripped from torsos, their friends laid scattered all over the place. They'd been slammed against trees and torn into pieces by something with incredible strength. Blood dripped into the small pools from the branches high in the trees. Isn't that gross?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As well as in the crushed green of the surrounding shrubs. But of the hairy creature responsible, the only thing that was left was bloody footprints leading into the woods. This thing is just walking off in the woods in their own blood. Yeah. So the loggers struck camp and they left the area the next day. and professional hunters entered the forest in days that followed, but they found no sign of the creature. Yeah. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Would you stop? I mean, that sounds like a description from, like, the movie Predator or something. And
since this is 1890s,
yeah.
maybe Predator was a movie about a description of Sasquatch.
Maybe they took accounts like this. Because, I mean,
yeah, it's possible.
I'm very torn with that description of the scene that they found. Like, the legs ripped from the legs and arms ripped from the torsos, and then the blood pooling and dripping. I feel that could happen from any other type of, not any other, but other types of violent encounters. I mean,
Maybe.
I do. So, I don't know. I'm very torn about that description. I'm not saying it's, not possibly exaggerated, but it does sound like something happened. I feel that.
Yeah, I think it's Bigfoot's.
Yeah.
Just ripping people apart.
But why would he rip them apart?
Because he's an animal. What's he going to do? Poke him with a stick? I mean, think about it. If you are an animal that is like twice the size of a gorilla, and at least twice the width of a man when you do shoulder to shoulder, and you're standing 8 feet tall and your arms are as big as your legs and the whole thing, you are just powerful. You could rip a dude's arm out, no problem.
Okay.
So, and especially if they're really fast and they're all muscle and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the violent response.
I mean, you're an animal. That's what you do. Because if and they're definitely meat eaters, right? According to what we hear.
I think they're...
eating deer and everything else.
Yeah.
I think you start shooting at it. That's it.
My thing is, I've been saying, like, if Sasquatch, who is a possible ape or primitive humanoid type creature, if it's got that ape-like instinct, yes, it's going to react violently to anything that comes in. It's going to be defensive and defend itself, much like, the wild apes in Africa.
It's territorial.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying during the live Vancast, it took Jane Goodall, like, 4-6 weeks or something just to see them or have, the wild apes in her eyesight, and it took months just to get near them.
Yeah.
So any intrusion on a wild ape or great ape's territory, yeah, there's going to be a violent reaction. I just don't know if this particular encounter was as violent and traumatic as they're describing it, So, but
I think it was.
I think it's a good warning. I mean,
because this has not been the only one.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
And I do think it's a good warning, before you go tromping through Sasquatch's territory, have some precaution.
Yeah.
And a little bit of respect. I don't know.
But creepy.
Yeah, and, like we've been saying, this isn't the only account, but there have been several reports of very aggressive Sasquatch, especially in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, speaking of foot, we've been talking about this before.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a couple different times, where just a random foot or a leg or a foot and a leg will just wash up. Right?
Yeah.
Like wash up to the beach.
In the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, primarily around like British Columbia, up around Seattle or so.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Beachgoers find foot on New Year's Day.
Oh, that's
yeah.
a terrible way to bring in your new year.
So what appears to be a human foot inside a boot has washed up in the Jetty Island in Everett, Washington.
And that's funny, because one of the last ones we talked about, the feet were specifically washing up onto Everett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they called the people that found this supposed or alleged foot. Right? They called 911. And of course, which is what you do when you find a foot. I mean, but what button do you press? 911, what's your emergency? Well, I don't know. There's a foot in a boot. It's on the shore. You know? So I don't know. I mean, how do you make that phone call? So anyway, the Everett Police Department and the police basically said they saw what appears to be a human foot inside a boot.
That's creepy.
Yeah, but the Snohomish County Medical Examiner's Office will determine whether the foot is human, and will determine an identity and try to figure out what it is. So, I mean, what other kind of foot would be in a boot?
As a joke, I've actually read stupid news articles where it was a deer foot, or what was the other thing it was like a bear some sort of bear.
Some kind of barefoot?
Oh, it was a bare arm. So it wasn't even like the paw. It was just to like play a terrible prank on somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's inappropriate.
I know.
So the boot basically appears like the boot's been in the water for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the discovery isn't the first time a lone foot has washed ashore in the Pacific Northwest. In the past decade, 14 feet have been found in British Columbia. And basically several others have shown up in Washington State.
Gosh.
So British Columbia is finding foots. And the ones that they don't find, I guess, are just washing on down.
See, when the 14 feet in a decade, the first time we reported on this, it was like they found 3 feet in 1 year.
Something like that. I thought it was like 5 feet, something crazy.
Yeah, so I don't...
Yeah. What they're saying is it's possible that, some of the materials that's being used in running shoes, which has kind of made its way into the boot world, can keep feet floating after they've separated from the rest of the body.
Oh.
Well, there you go. Isn't it nice?
See, I still think something's up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the only argument to what I'm about to say would be missing persons. But how can these feet just show up without there being like a full investigation for each one? I mean, why don't we hear later on, like 2 weeks later in the news, foot washed up on shore was linked to somebody who lost their foot a week ago or something like that, Like hospital reports, like as soon as there's a foot that shows up, why not scour hospitals within X radius, how many people showed up with a missing foot, And then, are these all right feet? Are they all left feet?
Yeah, they're matched pairs.
Are they size 9s?
Yes.
I mean, is there a trend? Is it a particular shoe? So,
if there was a particular shoe,
yeah,
and we found out about it, we would tell everyone who listens to not buy that shoe.
Well, I kind of, yeah. I mean, like serial killers, like stalking somebody wearing, Nike whatevers or something. But I am kind of relieved that the feet were found, and care of the science of the shoe, because I think the worst thing that could happen is a foot or a person or whatever goes missing and they're never found. No trace of them is ever recovered.
Yeah.
So that's the only silver lining I could think of. Everything else in this speaks to something just a little more sinister to me.
Let's talk about something a little bit more upbeat.
Okay.
Yeah. So, here you go. In the Now You Know segment we just added right now in the podcast, the new year will also bring 3 supermoons, a blue moon, multiple meteor showers, and a close approach by the moon and Jupiter, and several rocket launches in 2019.
Ooh.
So you know what that means, right?
What?
Basically, we have a super blood wolf moon.
Which I think is an awesome name.
Yeah.
So.
As long as you add either indestruction, or, like add
or
destruction
the
at the end
apocalypse.
Or the apocalypse. Or if you do like the Chinese food thing where you get like a Chinese fortune cookie and you just add like in the bed. Right? So this year we're going to have the super blood wolf moon in the bed.
Eclipse in bed.
Yeah, in bed. So, yeah. So the super blood wolf moon and everything else that's supposed to be happening in 2019 is going to be, according to this article, dazzling to behold.
But further, we'll put the link to the article in the show notes. There's only like 2 or 3
Yeah,
days.
they have a whole list of stuff that's going to be amazing, but we don't get to see it here in North America.
Except for like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And that would be, so January 21st, super blood wolf moon eclipse, specifically the lower east coast, is going to have a great view of it. May 6th, the Eta Aquarids meteor shower. I can't even say that.
Yeah, good pronunciation there.
Yeah, but it was created by the dusty debris left behind by Halley's Comet, which flew by Earth in 1986. It's not going to fly by again until 2061, but its remnants appear in our skies each year. This year is expected to put on quite a show. So
Sweet.
That'll happen in North America. Rare transit of Mercury.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the big one,
Yeah.
we actually missed one. It was a partial eclipse, partial solar eclipse, right? That was January 6th, so
Oh.
we missed it. Actually, it's today. So,
Oh.
because we're recording this on the 6th, so
Yeah.
it's today. So, anyway. So we missed that one, but the next one is supposed to be the good one, right? The Super Blood Wolf Moon Eclipse of Destruction. So this is for the first time in 3 years, the United States will be able to experience a total lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the sky's most dazzling shows, as the moon will be at its closest point to Earth, making the moon appear to be slightly bigger and a lot brighter. An event that's often referred to as a supermoon.
And since the Earth and Moon are going to align, and the sunlight that passes through the Earth's atmosphere will put on a red cast, then it's going to be known as a blood moon.
So Super
Yeah.
Blood Wolf Moon Eclipse of Destruction.
And since full moons, the first full moon in January that happens is known as the wolf moon. That's where the exaggerated name comes from.
Yeah.
I still think we need 3 wolf moon t-shirts. So.
So, around 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, people in North and South America, as well as those in western parts of Europe and Africa, will have front row seats to this show.
Yep.
So there you go. That's the one to pay attention to. The meteor shower, we're not going to see it too much because we're here in North America.
We'll see it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's in April. That's between April and May.
Yeah.
So they're estimating around April 19th through May 26th. Its peak will be around 3 a.m. Eastern Time until dawn on May 6th. And you can expect it to produce as many as 20 to 40 meteors per hour.
Ooh.
So that's quite a bit. So you might get lucky. The odds are in your favor. So what you should do is set a Google Calendar reminder so you don't forget.
Okay.
Yeah. July, total solar eclipse. We're not going to see it here in North America. But it's going to happen in parts of southern Chile, in Argentina, and parts of the South Pacific. Partial lunar eclipse on July 16th. Again, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia will be able to see it. North America, no.
I think it's funny that we had all those events like over 2017, 2018 for North America, but nearly everyone or every area or region of the U.S. that had it had bad weather that day.
Yeah.
Like the total solar eclipse that we saw, nothing but clouds.
That was a garbage solar eclipse.
Yeah, I was kind of mad.
But
Yeah.
there is something, though. December 26th, the annular solar eclipse, and we'll basically close out the year in a glorious ring of fire. Yeah. This happens when the sun shines brightly from behind the moon. And this year's eclipse will begin right at dawn and pass over the Arabian Peninsula and cover the basically arc over to South Asia. So maybe you can see the glorious ring of fire. And if I was not afraid of copyright, I'd play Johnny Cash's Burning Ring of Fire. So, yeah, I gotta watch that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But isn't that neat? So if you're looking for a dark sky park in order to be able to see
Because
the
that's
Super
key.
Blood Wolf Moon Eclipse of Destruction, well, you have to Google it.
Yeah. Well, actually, you can type like Google dark sky
Yeah.
parks or dark
Because-
sky preserve.
Yeah, because it'll make you put in your zip code or whatever,
Yeah.
wherever you are going to be, if you're going to be in that area, and it should give you an idea if there's one close to you.
Now, there is one website called darksky.org, but it lists all the nationally and internationally registered
Yeah.
places. But if you type, like your state and then dark sky, you'll usually find something.
Yeah, and the good thing about a dark sky park is it has to be dark.
And they have to abide by rules. Like I found out North Carolina actually had 2 other ones.
Yeah.
One of them had to get shut down, though, because
They didn't follow the rules.
the nearby city failed to follow the rules, and that city's lights reflect up onto the mountain.
Ah,
So they lost their dark sky designation, which is kind of sad.
it is kind of sad.
So, yeah.
The city let them down.
I mean, it's pretty... I'm torn because I realized, like, somebody in a comment thread said, Yeah, you're not going to get those New Mexico-style photos that I just looked up on Instagram.
No, you won't, because there's
Yeah.
so much humidity and haze and all that stuff. It's not quite the same.
But then other people are like, actually, if they go out far enough, they will. So,
Yeah. I wouldn't bet. Well, I mean, New Mexico, higher elevation, drier, way less haze, less clouds to get in the way and things like that. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll give it a shot. We'll figure out what's up.
yeah. And I did find 2 dark sky observatories that I'll be calling this week to find out.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah, maybe if they have like a 4G LTE, wherever it is, maybe we can do a live stream.
One of them does. So.
Ooh, we'll strap on one of those cheesy telephoto lens things on the camera phone. Because at that point, it'll be a camera phone, and maybe we'll stream it and talk about the Super Blood Wolf Moon of Destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be one event we can go to. And there's another event that we're thinking about attending. Right?
Yeah.
What is it? It's under our What's Happening section.
Oh. Well, okay. So, we're
going to go talk about tulpas. So a tulpa...
Actually, so M&D Paranormal, we went to one of their last events. We
Yes.
attended as guests, loved it, and we're going back for another event that they're hosting, which is the Tulpa Experience, Entities of the Mind.
Yeah.
And that's going on this week, I think, down in Marion, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So we'll put a link in the show notes to the podcast episode, and we have added the event to our Facebook fan page. So you can actually go there, click on events if you want to learn more, and let them know if you're interested in attending. It's going to be a talk on how tulpas are formed, what are they, and how they affect us.
Well, let's tell what a tulpa is. A tulpa is a manifestation of a physical entity formed through focused, deliberate, or accidental energy.
I actually wrote that.
Yeah, it's very nice.
As far as an example of a tulpa would be, and I hate to go to this extreme, but it's probably the most understandable one. Someone you care about or someone significant in your life passes away. It causes you a bunch of grief. You keep focusing deliberately or accidentally on that grief and how much you miss that person. And that grief energy manifests itself into you seeing them. Now, are you seeing them as a ghost? Or has your grief manifested a physical apparition of the person that passed away and that you miss deeply? That would be an example of a tulpa. Another example would be like celebrities who have to put on fake personas to go out in public, or notable people, like, they wear sunglasses and a fedora or something like that, and they keep putting the energy into that fake persona, and they, keep putting it out there. That persona builds its own energy, and suddenly people are seeing that personality out when that person is actually home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and how can that affect other people?
Or here's one that we talked about recently. It's possible it was a tulpa.
What?
Hey, all of a sudden there's 30,000 people talking about a drone flying around an airport in England.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden people started seeing it. Started becoming a real thing. And the next thing you know, they're saying it's possible there really wasn't one.
Oh.
So what if all that thought and energy went into that whole situation and maybe created that drone?
But that could speak to...
So people started seeing it,
That could speak to other situations, too.
Sure.
Like the UFO phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
Yeah. You have a handful of instances of genuine UFO reports, and then suddenly everyone else focuses their interests or time and effort thinking about one, and suddenly more generate.
Who knows? It's possible.
Yeah.
It is possible.
So we'll be checking that out. If you guys are interested in hearing about tulpas and learning about them, go ahead, visit the Facebook page, and there's a link.
That is correct. Well, we're nearing the end of the podcast this time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, don't really have a lot more to say. But if we all think about stuff, maybe we can make a tulpa. So, to all the tens of people listening to the podcast, let's focus on making a pizza and having it delivered to the Bunker Studios, the CreepGeeks Bunker Studios. So, there we go. Just picture it in your head.
No.
Because they don't deliver pizza out here, man. We are out in the middle of nowhere. We just barely have the internets.
You had a delicious dinner. You don't need to manifest a pizza.
I can't. Look, if I had to manifest something, right, you know what I mean? It's like, your power is, either my superhero power would be able to. Here's my superhero power.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to stop time for like 5 or 10 or 15 minutes at a time with no effects.
Yeah.
So that whenever I'm super tired, I could just stop time and take a little nap. Right?
Okay.
And then start the clock and everything's just like it was. Wouldn't it be great? You'd like be in the middle of a meeting or something like that and just stop this time. Just shut your eyes for a while.
So you would harness like all of Doctor Strange's like power to harness the time stone, just so you could take naps when you need them.
Yes.
That is just incredible.
That is genius, and you know it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I mean, that's not unreasonable. Just tired, just want to shut my eyes for a little while,
Not,
rest my eyes, get right back to work.
not the ability to fly or save the world, but to take
You know what? If you do all that, there's lots of responsibilities involved with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want that. With great power comes great responsibility. So if I just need a little nap sometimes, just take the edge off. You know what I mean? Simple man. Just simple things, man. That's all it is. Nice dinner every once in a while.
So you would stop time for naps and have the ability to manifest pizzas.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Wouldn't it be great?
Okay.
And you know what? And if I could summon things, I would summon missing socks. Because, like, you only need the socks every once in a while, right? Like, you sit there doing your thing, like, oh, I got to go somewhere, and you're like, where the hell is that sock? I could just summon it and bring that sock to me. Mm-hmm. See? Summon a pizza, or, basically manifest a pizza every once in a while. Take a nap. Summon some socks. Simple man. Realistic superhero powers. Yeah. And another superhero power would be to know when the water bills due.
Oh, gosh. Would you stop?
Just like to know. Because, like, when we used to live in Virginia a long time ago, the water bill wasn't every month. It was every other month.
Okay.
Just long enough to forget when that thing is due. And I paid that stupid bill like 3 times over one month because I couldn't remember. We ran a credit on that water bill for like 3 months. It was great. That also happened in New Mexico as well. Kind of the same thing. Forgot it. I paid the crap out of it. And the bill would say, no bill, do not pay, stop paying. Because I just sprinkled some money on them. You know what? Here you go, take that. So, yeah, that'd be great. Simple man. So what would be your superhero power? And don't say to stop you from taking naps and to stop you from manifesting a pizza.
Darn it.
And my other power would just stop you from doing dumb stuff. That's not cool.
Oh, man. Flying, probably.
Flying where?
Just the ability to fly.
Well, yeah, but I mean, think about this. You can fly, and that's your ability. What happens when you smack a seagull? Is that they're flying around, you run into something.
Well,
we've seen what it does to planes and stuff like that.
Having common sense isn't a superpower. As
I don't know,
rare
man.
as
You're up
it
there
is.
whipping around about 400 miles an hour flying.
I would probably wear safety glasses.
Yeah, because that'll help. You smash a bird at 400 miles an hour. The safety glasses.
I would probably wear some
helpful.
sort of gear. And who says I'm going to be able to fly at 400 miles per hour?
If you can't fly at 400 miles an hour, then what's the point?
The point is,
you want to fly like just like a little, like a pigeon?
I can fly.
Look at me, I can fly. Like, look at that slow person flying around up there. At least you should fly like you have something to do.
You know,
got somewhere to go. Fly with intent.
I wouldn't need to
write that down. Fly with intent.
I wouldn't need to manifest pizzas because I could go fly and get one.
That's true, but I wouldn't have to go anywhere. I could just bring it to me. I could be sitting there and manifest a pizza.
I'd like to fly.
Well, you know what? You can fly out there and find my sock.
Okay.
Or I'll just summon it to me. And then you could follow it. Like, where's my sock? Here it is. And you're like, hold on, let me get my flying trousers.
Shut up.
Fix my Fetch my flying trousers, please.
I would want a beautiful...
My goggles and my helmet.
A beautiful superpower. That's what I'd want. So...
What's a beautiful superpower?
Being able to fly? That's beautiful.
I guess that's nice.
Yeah.
But see, you have to be careful what you wish for, because you never know how that power would manifest itself to give you that ability. What if you're flying through fart power?
Oh, gosh. Would you... Okay, now the podcast is done.
You know what I'm saying? So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Terrible.
Well, everybody out there listening in podcast land, thank you very much.
Now, if you'd like to contact the podcast...
If you'd like to comment on your own superhero power and what you think you should have...
You can always reach us through contact@creepgeeks.com. You can also message us on Facebook. Just go on Facebook, type CreepGeeks Podcast. You'll find us, and be sure to join the group. We have some pretty lively conversations in there. Again, if you'd like to call the show, leave a message, talk to us, share your spooky story, because anybody who shares a spooky story, we want to get in contact with. We want to, share your experience. You can do that. Yep. 575-208-4025. This month we are hosting a contest, a little mini contest. Be sure to rate our podcast on iTunes or Google Play, whatever podcast player platform you listen to us on. Give us a rating. Ratings help us grow. Once you give us a rating, just message us or, let us know that you give us a rating. You are automatically entered into contest to win a Creep Geek sticker and some other swag. So,
swagtastic.
Yep. Ratings, they make us more visible to other potential listeners, and it always helps the podcast to grow with ratings. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can watch our live stream podcast as soon as we post our little live streams.
Yep. You can also follow us on Facebook.
Yep.
We have a pretty active following. It's pretty nice. You can check out some stuff. You can also follow Cheap Geek on Facebook. That's even got a bigger active following now all of a sudden. There's lots of interesting things that happen there as well.
Yep.
It's very, very nice. All this is absolutely free. No charge to you cheap guys out there. So, yeah. That's about all I got, really.
No, that's
you got anything else there?
Yeah. No. Just, we do want to thank everybody for tuning in to the audio podcast.
Yes.
As well as the live cast that we do.
Yes. So. You can do both if you like. Mm-hmm. It's completely up to you. 2019 is a year of choices.
And everything we talked about on the podcast will be in the show notes, as well as links to some stuff we think you guys would be interested in. Again, we still have sales going on in our Teespring store for t-shirts. And I forgot to turn off the Christmas promo. So that Christmas promo is still live. Xmas Rush.
Nice.
Yep.
25% off.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know. But other than that, we are done for this particular episode of the Creep Geeks podcast. Be sure to stick around. And, I don't know why they want to stick around. We're kind of done with it. Don't stick around now. Thanks for downloading, though.
Yeah.
But, hey, subscribe so you can get all the podcasts into your device. We do appreciate it. So, any questions, comments, concerns, send us an email. Let us know. Very nice. And we also post pictures on Instagram, so you can find us on Instagram as well. You can go to Creep Geeks and see all sorts of creepy stuff.
Yep.
So, sweet. Any questions? Any hands? Any hands up? Missing anything? Very nice. All right. See you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.